so we actually went and delivered the internet service. But what's pretty unique about what we did at WeLink is we actually built the tech platform that we used to deploy the service. So everything from selecting the semiconductors, building the digital boards, doing all the software, all the manufacturing. And it was a pretty revolutionary product. The problem that it solved was what's called the last mile. So if you look at kind of these access networks, cable and fiber is becoming more predominant. We took an approach where we used wireless technology. And if you look at those networks, about 80% of the cost is in the last mile. There's fiber pretty prevalent in, within a mile of anywhere, but getting at that last mile is incredibly expensive. And what we figured out how to do is to do multi-gigabit speeds, so it's fast as fiber, faster actually than a lot of fiber companies even offer, but wirelessly. And then the key was with the wireless technology, because we built it, we did it for a 50th the cost per home passed compared to fiber. And that's really what I've been working on for 20 plus years. I've got 30 patents. And then prior to that, I co-founded Vivint Wireless. There's a smart home company, a large multi-billion-dollar company with millions of customers. They acquired an earlier startup that I've co-founded called SmartRove that we worked on a previous version, less advanced of the tech I built at WeLink. And same thing, it was a last mile wireless solution. They rolled that out. Got it profitable. I was there for, once they acquired SmartRove, I was at Vivint for 5 years. But still small compared to the relative number of subscribers they had. But we ended up selling those assets to Verizon. And then I left and founded WeLink. But yeah, I mean, I think, and you'll see how this kind of relates to Xeta, but what I'm really excited about is for the first time in my entire career, not only, like for example at Vivint, we were making $3-4 million investments in the semiconductor companies to try and develop the ecosystem because it wasn't mature. It's the first time in my career where the tech is super mature, super low cost, and really it's less about the tech and more about kind of how well we market it. But yeah, I'm a tech geek through and through.
And I'm excited about it because you can see the excitement in him. Like I say, he gets excited when he talks about this tech stuff. So now, when you look at the contract that you won, like the $50 million RFP, would it be safe to say that you won it based on the cost, that you were able to save and the efficiency?
That's exactly what we wanted.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you look at the competing RFPs, really they wanted something that was fiber class, and so everyone else went with a fiber proposal, and that was like probably 20 times our cost. And so it was really because of the cost points we were able to achieve that we won that.
That's kind of like Rockefeller. I just thought about this when you said this, because when they tried to cut Rockefeller out when it came to the trains, the Smiths, they were like, you know what, we're gonna cut his arm off and just kill his business. He said, I'm going underground and build a pipeline where he didn't need the railroads anymore. It's way more efficient, more effective. And so what you did is pretty much like what Rockefeller did.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty awesome. So you're first of all, I'm gonna go back a little bit because you have people who are in his position, and he's never gonna brag about himself and all the rest of the other good stuff. But you have people who are in his position who would never be in a room this size, right? They would never ever travel and do these type of events and these type of meetings, and to kind of share with you the type of person he is. When he partnered with our company, he was on a Zoom giving us some information and answering questions. And my wife had a question about the router and the installation. And he said, well, I'll just come install it. Well, he's on the other side of the US in Utah. And so he, his wife, beautiful kids flew in and to our living room. So you got a person of this status flying to somebody's home and to do an installation. He's got people for that, right? You got customer service for that. But why did you do that?
It was just a whim, that kind of type of thing. But really, it's a new product, and I think that there's nothing better than just the first-hand experience of, from a customer perspective, going into a customer home. That was my second router that I installed, and so for me, it's really helpful just to kind of see the process firsthand, understand what the hiccups are, if any, and that way it kind of just feeds back into the product loop. So it's always been a really important thing for me when anytime I launch a new product, I get in the field and see it. So.
and my house provided a really good test subject for you.
Yeah.
So, when you got there, what did you experience? And even with just the tech side, how bad my internet was before, and then also just the environment, because the environment has the reason why we're doing here today. But if you can, just talk to those two things, because I really want you guys to hear this stuff.
From the tech aspect or from the kind of the people aspect?
Both.
Yeah, so I mean, from the tech aspect, it was cool. I mean, we know we've always built good products, but so previous to installing our Wi-Fi, I think we were getting like 500 or 600 megabits. Although he had a multi-gigabit, or I think your internet was 1.5 gigabit through Xfinity. And really, what that Wi-Fi box does is it's the next generation of Wi-Fi. To say it's a 10x improvement is not an exaggeration. It's just a monumental kind of gain versus the last generation of Wi-Fi. So one, immediately we actually got the speed that your ISP advertised. It's a very common thing we hear. Hey, I'm paying for a gig, I never get a gig. And it's because most people don't use their internet plugged in to their router, they use it over Wi-Fi. And the last generation of Wi-Fi just isn't able to keep up with how fast the speeds have gotten. And so speed test before and after was like a 3x improvement, went from like 500, 600 megs to 1.5 gigs, 1500 megs. But it's not just the speed increase. I think there were 20 some odd people, all of them connected at the same time. One of the other really fundamental things they changed in the Mac, which I won't explain what that is, but it's how multiple devices access. Last version of Wi-Fi, it was one at a time. So if you had 20 devices, each of those 20 devices would take their turn listening for contention on the channel. And if you got too many devices, a lot of people hear this, say, I've got kick my kids off the Xbox, or if I'm on a Zoom call because the Wi-Fi can't handle it. They changed the Mac to where it's basically the same as what 5G uses. It's a technology called OFDMA. In a simple term, what it does is it allows multiple sessions simultaneously. So it'll take a channel, it'll subdivide it into 18 or 16 subchannels, and you can have 16 conversations on Wi-Fi at the same time. So it's not just like substantially more throughput, higher speeds, it's also if you've got 30, 40, 50, 100 to 200 devices. I think the spec on our box is we can handle like 1,000 simultaneous connections, some ridiculous amount. So it's not, when you understand, like one of the common things we hear is, hey, I can go on Amazon and buy a Wi-Fi router for $200. Well, yeah, you can buy a Wi-Fi 6 router for $200. That is last gen. If you look at our box, very comparable to boxes in Best Buy that are selling for $1,800, $1,900 for a very similar system. And the price will come down. It's less than 1% of people have it. So as the tech matures and the volumes increase, the price will come down to more normal levels. But so from a tech perspective, I think kind of we replaced 3 of your mesh routers with 2, better coverage, better performance, superior Wi-Fi product. And then from the people perspective, that was really cool for me. I think, look, my entire career, I've been kind of in big corporate land. And even with WeLink, we were dealing with large private equities, multi-billion-dollar equity funds. And, I raised $300 million just for WeLink. And this go around, I got pretty jaded with that whole, not just that kind of VC equity funding, but just kind of how corporate America is in general. And I told myself, for the next company I form, I want to do it kind of like grassroots, and I want to kind of do it in a way that doesn't kind of centralize wealth. If you look at kind of the big tech companies, but kind of shares the wealth. And I've been fortunate enough that I didn't need to go out and raise. This is the first company I founded where I was able to self-fund it. I've been successful and had multiple exits, and so I didn't have to kind of depend. So for me, it was really cool just to kind of be in your home and just experience that more kind of grassroots type, which I'm excited about.
Yeah, that actually, because the phone call I got was like, hey, look, can we go on tour? I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? If you're gonna let me drag you around the world, sure. So, and this has been one of the, a very rewarding moment for me, because like I said, for me, as an entrepreneur, I really do like, learning and and seeing what the rest of the world is thinking and what they're doing. But a lot of people love you. They don't just love your tech. You know, they loved your tech before they met you, but now after you hit every city, they all love you. They all really appreciate you and Helen and how you guys really interact like normal people. And like that's what they use, normal people, not big corporate people.
Sure.
So they love you guys. Now, you know, when it comes to, you know, the company build, you could have actually hired a marketing company, or you could have did this thing the traditional way. Why partner with Build?
Yeah, so 2 reasons. One, if you look at my team, we've got a large team of engineers, mostly out of Eastern Europe is where we do our development.
I'm gonna ask you about them in just a second.
But we're tech people. We're not marketing guys. Like, you know, I write patents and build boxes. And so marketing is not kind of our forte. And so we knew we wanted to find kind of like a really strong marketing group to partner with. We talked to a lot of different groups. And really, I think the thing that appealed to me about Wince is, you know, you don't do the things I've done and you learn kind of human nature. And one of the things that kind of I really focus on is just kind of integrity and the quality of the people. There's a lot of people that aren't that way. And in Wentz, you know, he was the first CEO I talked to in the marketing group where I felt like I really trusted him. And we clicked on that kind of level. And so for me, it's really about integrity, and it's about kind of the character of the people that I'm working with. And that was, and I've seen an extension of it. It's really funny. They talk about kind of, you know, fish rots from the head down type of thing.
Yep.
I've seen in the people that I've interacted with at Build very much, doesn't surprise me the quality of the people based off of who Wentz is and the type of people you've attracted. So
Yeah, I actually came out of retirement to do business with him, and you know, I remember flying to California, and I got a chance to meet him and Christina, his wife. I had to call my wife and tell her, hey, look, I'm gonna need another day. I'll be home in a couple of days because I think we found something. And the something wasn't the company; it was actually him and the people.
Yeah.
And so that's the thing that I fell in love with. I put, you know, my business, trust in, and so I appreciate that. You know, a lot of people y'all see him, right? And you know, he's a dynamic, you know, individual on his own. And but if you can, I know you got the click or two. I think
Yeah, sure.
But if you could just, you know, give her like just a thumbnail sketch on who these guys are, because I don't want them to just think that you got a couple sidekicks